student again. Believe it or not, this guy has 11 degrees already, and he thinks that he needs another one. So go ahead with your bad self.
Well, no, it's not that I need another one. When money is put on the table that is specifically for you, go get it. Because it might not be there forever. If it's free money, I'm going to go get it. They're going to pay for my books and all the equipment that I need, a laptop, whatever. I'm going to go get that. And that's one of the benefits, another benefit of being in the military. I mean, they're putting all this stuff out there for you. So remember I told you Al? He can get the same benefit in voc rehab. So he wants to change this thing, become a doctor.
Right.
They would pay for his whole training right now to be a doctor. So.
Well, all right. And so, so that's why we moved the show to Friday. Usually it's on Tuesdays, but since Donovan and I have some downtime today, we thought we'd do it again today. And so...
Yes, we ain't got no barbecues to go to, We ain't got no butter biscuits or chicken sandwiches to,
So anyway, don't believe the hype. We ask you to go beneath the surface of what you've heard and you've seen to make sure it is true for yourself. So hello to those on the podcast, all the podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, Podbean, YouTube, what's happening. Twitter. You'll eventually see Twitter. You'll eventually see the produced video. Right now we have the green screen, but you won't see the green screen. And hello to those on Facebook. We are here today, as I said, on this kind of cloudy,
partly cloudy, hot, muggy.
Monday afternoon. So I'll let Donovan go ahead and tell you what roaching is.
Okay, a lot of you guys out there know, again, welcome to the show. This is my part of the segment, and I want to get something a little bit off of my chest because, it happens not just in my family, it happens in all kinds of families. There's a new phenomenon going on to where...
It's a phenomenon?
It's a phenomenon. Because when we were coming up, it was an ass kicking.
Got it.
If you are a Generation Xer, which is what we are the last generation to follow our parents. We listen to our parents' music. We like the Four Tops. We like Marvin Gaye. We like R&B and stuff like that. And then we're the generation that invented hip-hop and rap as we know it today. Now, for those that don't know, hip-hop and rap are two different things. Rap is the music. Hip-hop is the culture. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay, behind me is a green screen, but what we want you to do is pull that green screen down and see who's actually pulling the bells and whistles, and we're here to just give you another way to think about things and kind of do that. What I want to talk about is Roaching 101 and the dynamics of. All righty, let's get into it. There is a phenomenon going on within the Black community, and I'm going to specifically address our girls. If you guys have been following my Facebook post, Donovan Sadiq on Facebook, this morning, I put up a issue with bleaching. There's also a awesome YouTube documentary about it. It's really big in Africa, it's big in Jamaica, and all these other things. Now, when I see a Black woman, and me and Demetra get into this all the time, I say it all the time. Nobody hates Black women more than Black women. And people say, well, what do you mean when you say that? What I mean when I say that is this. A Black woman doesn't want to wear her hair. She doesn't want to wear her eyes. She's doing the most to not look like a Black woman. Now, not all Black women, but there's a phenomenon with this new generation of women. They're bleaching their skin. And to me, there's nothing more beautiful than a Black woman. I'm sitting right next to one.
Well, thank you.
Been trying to get with her sister for...
But the wig, right?
No, that's not. If that's the wig, that is a thick-ass wig. And I know that's too much product for them to try to sell and make a profit. Okay? That crown is just too much. So, there's nothing more beautiful than a Black woman. And our thing is, I know we don't have patience because the media is just bombarding us what beauty is. I'm sorry. White women and us being, it's almost like we have this fear of white people in the back of our mind because we know we can kick their ass at the time. They're more afraid of us than we are of them. That's why they have the guns.
Right.
So, that's my, it's like I tell you about like Mexicans. I'm sorry, I could never be afraid of a 5'2" Mexican. I just can't do it. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying because I'm shooting bravado. I'm just saying there's no reason to be afraid of people that are afraid of me.
All right.
Strong and Black.
So what about this roaching stuff?
So I'm going to get to the roaching thing. It's a phenomenon within the Black family.
And let me say this. Okay, so roaching is a term that Donovan
invented.
He said he's going to coin it.
Yes.
I just get a kick out of it. It's hilarious. And so let me define it a little bit. Roaching is, from what he's telling me, I don't know a whole lot about roaches.
Bullshit. Every black person knows about roaches.
Okay, well, I don't know a whole lot about the dynamics of what they do, right? But from what Donovan was telling me, when roaches don't have anything else to eat, they eat each other, so they commit like cannibalism, if you will.
Yes, they start eating each other.
His term, the roaching, came into play because I guess he was dealing with some people, some family members, or other people, friends
in the black community.
So Donovan has been known and is to be very generous, and so people in the past would come to him and say, "Hey, can I borrow $5,000? Can I get $2,000?" And he's like, "Okay." Of course, you make him sign a contract.
That's my pocket change.
So you make him sign a contract and all of that.
Oh, hell breaks loose.
Yeah, and he had to sue some people, like some friends and stuff. He had to sue them, and so he was like, "I'm done." He says, we just roach off of each other. And so
you were there when I had that note down. Right?
We just roach off of each other. I loan them the money, and then they, have to go ask them for the money.
Yeah. Or they're on vacations, knowing they owe me money.
Right. Or they're on Facebook and they're shopping, and the Essence Festival, and and they owe him grands, not $20-$30, like some grands. That he's helped them in their time of need. And so he came up with the term of roaching, saying basically in our community, this is his opinion, in our community, we tend to just, it's like a dog eat dog type of thing. I'm going to get and take until I can't take anymore. And then when the person who's been taken from wants their stuff back, it's like, well, see, what had happened was...
Or get in line. Get in line.
Or as long as I owe you, you never be broke. When you can't get blood from a turnip, you see I'm on Facebook struggling too. You ain't talking about that part.
Right.
You're just talking about these Christian Louboutins that I bought.
These red bottoms and all that sort of stuff.
But you ain't talking about I have to walk into the unemployment office with these red bottoms on.
Right, Or you got this $400 weave in your head, and I'm just like, $80 nails on, and I'm just like, what's going on here? So
that's what roaching is, you guys.
So when a roach has nothing to eat, they will start cannibalizing each other. And that's my analogy of the black community, because that's what we do to each other. That is a prime example of why we cannot do group economics, because we are too busy worried about, I don't want you to get the money, so I'm going to get the, and we take, if I was Mr. Charlie, I'm getting my money. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
Very few black people are in court arguing with Mr. Charlie about rent. Why are you laughing? This is serious shit. You know what I mean?
Continue.
So it's a phenomenon going on because we have these new millennials now that figure, okay, I don't want to go to school. I have no plan. I'm a grown person now. I'm not, just like Brian McKnight's sons, I'm not a 12-year-old. I am a grown person with child. I decided to sleep with a man that is thugged out or want to be a thug out or whatever, and I'm struggling. But I don't want to put in the work to do what I need to do. Be a janitor. All work is honorable.
It's most of it.
well, even if you're a sex worker, that's a job, and it's honorable. It's the oldest profession. You know what I'm saying? You got to do what you got to do. It's a transaction.
You guys hear that noise in the background?
Yes. It's
a phone ringing, a real phone. Donovan is one of the last people on earth who has a real landline, if you will.
Yes.
Who's calling?
I have no idea. It's probably a telemarketer.
This is the first time I think I've been here, and all these times I've been here, that your phone. Why do you still have a phone line?
It's part of the cable packet. I had to take it. I didn't want it. I don't even know the number. If you ask me, I can tell you the number. But I'm in the nostalgia. I have the extension line.
Can I borrow it? Because that way, when next time I need to hang up on somebody, I want to get that old feeling back. No.
Right. But I have the old extension line where you had to go in the room with the 30-foot cord. Yeah. I'm into stuff like that. Old school. It brings back good memories growing up. But
Roaching.
Yes, we're not talking about young people. You made a decision, and they won't do what it is they need to do to survive as a grown person. It's like they want to be children in one aspect, and then they want to be adults in another aspect. If I gave you a blueprint, D, and I said, here's what you need to do to be a millionaire, what more are you expecting me to do? So here I am, not bothering anybody, and I'm not bothering anybody. I'm living the best life I can live. And then you see, this thing come down. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to go over here. It's like, well, you're burning all your bridges as you're, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm looking at what's going on, and it's like, the millennials basically are saying, what you won't do, grandma will do, or grandpa will do. And that's the problem, especially the Black community. We have the extreme thing of doing things. I mean, we take it to the extreme. We are not white. We are still struggling to make it to where we need to make it in this country. And yet these millennials identify themselves with privilege. And that isn't the real world. And we've got to start teaching these kids, hey, you're grown now. This is it.
I hear you.
And that's the phenomenon that's going on. They have an expectation that somebody is always going to bail them out. And when you were 30 years old, working where you were working, your mother said, yeah, I'm here to help you, whatever, but you're going to take that baby on your hip wherever you need to go. Correct?
Most definitely, yeah. And, now that you're bringing that up, I was trying to actually think of a word. It slipped to my mind and you guys feel free to chime in if you will. A lot of people, especially, younger people, if you want, we kind of talked about this a lot on my show yesterday. They have the false idea of, what's the word I'm looking for? You said privilege, but it's like somebody owes you something.
Them something, right?
Yeah. And I guess we do owe them something. We both have children. We owe them something, but I guess what do we owe them? We talked about this
Good
before.
Question.
And so the fact that you brought up about my situation, I tell everybody I had my daughter when I was 21, close to 22, but it is what it is. I was 21. I didn't have a mom my mom was there for me, don't get me wrong. I didn't have a mom who was like, hit the road, Jack. She wasn't
Girl,
like
we can get $800 in food stamps with that baby. Yeah, go get some more. we can come up.
Y'all didn't have that type of mama.
Okay.
The type of mom that I did have was like, okay, because my daughter's father and I were still together, and I had her and stuff. But she was like, and we didn't live with her, so it wasn't like that. We lived on our own before, we conceived her, if you will. But when things didn't work out, my mom did help me, but she was like, I'm not gonna help you do nothing. I'm not gonna help you get into a worse situation by perhaps going out there and bringing home more kids and things like that. My mom made sure that I was a mother to my child, and that was because I had an example in her.
Right.
She was a mother to my siblings and myself, but she didn't enable me, if you will. My mom didn't enable me to go out there and, like, there was no, hey, mom, I'm going to the club, it's popping, it's lit, me and my girls, I need you to watch my daughter. She was like, well, shit, you should have called me 5 minutes before, because I'm going out.
Yeah, no, I'm going to the club.
Yeah, because I don't have no kids. My kids are grown, but I didn't have that in the mom to where she was going to allow me to push my responsibilities on her. Chris Rock has this thing in one of his stand-ups. He says nowadays the kids call the grandmama mama and the mama Pam or whatever her name is, and that's because a lot of times, and that's why I say it's our parents' generation fault to some degree. To where they've removed that responsibility from us.
And we allowed our parents to step in and do our job.
And then we have kids, and then we teach them to, not all of us, some of us. Yeah. We have taught them to do nothing, if you will. It's okay to be just cute or use what you got and all of that. I guess I'm not trying to be disrespectful to them because they did teach us some things, but it started to get watered down as the generations went by. I mean, I'm not a grandparent yet. I'm not anywhere close to being a grandparent. My daughter is not thinking about having any kids. She's still getting her thing going. And no shade to anybody else, but I know people my age who have, grandkids, and the kids that have the kids go out and bring more kids home.
And don't get me wrong. If you're one of those people that have that, you love the babies and stuff like that, and because there are people, some like that, they just into that. More power to you. But this generation can't assume everybody's like that.
I'm not like that. And, I've also taught my daughter the same thing. I love you and I will love the grandkids, but I want to love the grandkids and I also want to love my son-in-law, which means I don't want you to go out there and be a single mom. It happens. I was a single mom. It happens or whatever. But I never taught her that lifestyle was okay.
Right.
I would that you would get yourself together. That way you can be selective in the man that you choose. Then you two build a life, and then you two have a family, and that way grandma, grandy, that's what they ain't gonna call me grandma or granny, okay? I ain't there yet. But, if y'all
Big
mama.
Nah. Big mama.
Sexy mama.
Right, okay.
No, but, if y'all want to go out on a night on the town or whatever, I ain't doing nothing.
Right.
I watch the kids, whatever. But I want to serve in that capacity. Right. I don't want to be the type of grandma to where it's like, oh, child, shoot, my daughter got, okay, well, this father got to drop off the kids, and that father gonna come pick up the kids, and I don't want to be that type of grandma.
Right.
So,
and I don't want to be the grandfather that's, I'm not that kind of. You can't drop any kids off for me. That ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna love them, but you're not gonna drop them off. That's not gonna happen. You got to come up with, and that's a man thing. It's like, I didn't enjoy making them, so I'm definitely not going to enjoy taking care of them.
So you're not going to let the kids roach up off of you?
No, they're not going to roach up off of me.
Okay, but you say that now. Oh, I ain't going to let the grandkids, and then you be over here building. You think you building some shit now in the backyard. You're going to have a whole jungle gym out there.
No, not at all.
You're going to convert all the kids
to
rooms for the grandkids.
Not at all. Not at all.
Come over here. You're going to have bouncing balls and everything all over the place. It's going to be Nickelodeon on. Donna has like 7 huge.
8. Try to go in the garage.
I'm not talking about no little TVs. He's got 8 giant TVs all through the house. Every TV is going to have on the Mickey Mouse Club, the Nickelodeon, all of that. You say that now.
Nick Jr., all that stuff like that.
Yeah, it's going to be,
No, I mean, and people say, you shouldn't be that way. No, it's in a man's nature, and you go through the whole animal kingdom. We mate and we go about our business, and the women have to deal with it, whatever. I like to play with my children, and I've done that. The grandchildren, it's not my responsibility. I do not want any responsibility. And
so at what point will you be there for the grandkids? Where do you feel your role would be as a grandfather?
The same as it would be as a father. Like if my grandkid's going to, has a plan and wants to go to a certain school and I can help facilitate that, I definitely would do that. But you got to have a plan. But if they come to me and say, yeah, you going to make me, we going to you at UCLA on grandfathers. No. You're assuming.
Granddaddy going to write the check.
No.
They're going to be like, how much is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's $50,000 a year. Oh.
The only way that they're going to do that to me is if I'm like this. And I can't understand anything that is going on.
We got power returning from Grandpa.
I'm just crippled up in my chair. I can't defend myself. No, but that is a big phenomenon, and it's happening to a lot of families, not just your family, my family. It happens to everybody. And the thing is, when do we look at these young ladies and say enough is enough?
Well,
and these young men,
right,
as well.
Yeah. As I said yesterday on the show, it starts with us.
Mm-hmm.
What are we teaching them?
Okay.
What are we going to teach these children? A lot of the children in their 20s that they can take and teach their children.
Okay.
They have to see us being the example. If we teach them in your terms roaching, then that's what they'll do. They'll learn to use other people and be nothing, if you will.
But see, what I don't understand is, okay, you're a grown adult by legal ramifications. Why haven't these kids worked toward where they want to go? I didn't know what I wanted to do. That's why I joined the military, and I said, well, I'm not sure, whatever the deal. But that was I went to the military to figure it out. But if you wanted to be a writer, if you wanted to be a performer, why aren't you working toward that goal? It's like they're sitting there.
Okay, but let me ask you this, okay? I'm going to interview Donovan for just a second, you guys. You want to fix your camera?
No, go ahead.
Yeah. No. I'm going to interview Donovan, okay? So you have kids who have gone to school. Yes, let's talk about your youngest, for example. Your youngest is 21, right? He's 21, just finished his bachelor's and is on to his master's.
Correct.
What did you do to help him realize those things were important? Like, why is he on the right track? What did you and his mom do to instill those things in him?
The basic thing we did was be the example.
Okay, so
his mother has 5 or 6 degrees. She's a PhD.
No, but like, what did? Because there's a lot of people who have you. I mean, so his son's mom's got 5 degrees. His
5 or 6.
Daddy has 11.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of people who have degrees, but why did he? Okay, obviously he saw you guys, doing in education, right. But I've never once heard you tell me anything negative about your child, like, oh my gosh, I gotta fly down, and because he didn't, got into this trouble.
No. Remember,
got these baby mamas all. I've never heard you say anything.
Yeah, no. But remember that time I told you when he made the wrong choice. The teacher wanted him to do something, but she gave him a choice, and I said, I came down, took the red eye, was about to kick his ass.
Yeah.
And come to find out, she gave him a choice, and he chose wrong.
Right.
I couldn't ride down on my son when.
But I'm saying, but what? Yeah. Like, why is he on the right track? Why isn't he? I guess I'll bring it down a little bit. Why doesn't he have a bunch of baby mamas or out there smoking weed and hanging out? Why isn't he doing those things?
Because I gave him this advice. Either you want to eat peanut butter or do you want to eat steak? Everybody's eating peanut butter, but if you want to eat steak, you're going to have to work a little bit harder. And I told him, look at the people that are smoking weed and all this other stuff. They are not going anywhere. And they're usually in the same spot. And that crowd of people don't go anywhere. And I'm not against people for smoking weed, if for medicinal purposes. Now, if you're rich, like you're a megastar or whatever, that's in that culture, whatever, you got millions of dollars, you can do that. But when you're the average person like you and I see that you're taking your money and you're smoking and using it on drugs, there has never been a movie. And I told my son these things. I said, this is the thing. And the bottom line is I told him this. You're a man. You got to be responsible for what you do at that point. If you go down this path, if you choose the dark path, that's what you choose. Don't expect any help from me. The same way what my mom told me and my brother.
Right.
She said, if you take your ass to jail for an ungood reason, like let's say hypothetically I'm in an auto accident and somebody got killed, and what's that, manslaughter, and I have to go to jail.
Something out of your control.
Something out of my control. But if I'm doing shit out there, my mom always told me and my brother, don't expect no calls, don't expect no visits, don't expect no support. And I think that was the main reason that kept me out. And I took that very same advice and I gave it to my son.
Well, I mean, and I think that's important. People need to know that, because I'm often asked that too, how did you go about raising your daughter? As I tell people, my daughter be 27. God,
yes.
She'll be 27 in December. And how can I say this? She hasn't been perfect, but she hasn't given me any issues. If you will. And I was like you. I just tried to be the example. I didn't want her to do the things that I did. And so I talked to her from the cradle, about things that I wanted her to do.
Yeah, and you're constantly giving them advice and encouraging them.
Because you can talk all you want to, but if you're not showing that, it's a wash. Like I can say,
don't smoke cigarettes.
Don't smoke, honey. It's bad for you. But if that's what she sees me do, then she's probably going to do it. Maybe not, but there's a good chance she will. And so you have to also model those behaviors. And I just always told her, I want you to go farther than I did. Because when I
take that baton and
I was 21 when I was 21 working 3 jobs because, it didn't work out with her father and I. He was a bag. So it didn't work out. I had 3 jobs, taking care of her until I was able to get on my feet. We always had our own spot to live in. And then I just was able to do better. And I told her, I said, I don't want you to struggle like I did. It wasn't always easy because I didn't want my daughter in daycare.
Right.
Thank God I did have family members and people who, could watch her. But I said, I don't want you to go the route that I did, struggling, trying to figure out who I am, working to keep food on the table. I wasn't on the system. Because I work.
But let me ask you this real quick to cut you off. You had family that helped you out.
Yeah.
Deanna knows this. Absolutely. As a grown woman, has she continued to have expectations of Uncle Smitty to do this for her and cousin so-and-so to do this for her?
Well, because the thing is this, as my parents, and I talked about this yesterday, taught me, God bless the child that has his own. And so I've taught her that, you can always do for self. You might struggle, we struggle in life, but you have to learn how to do for self. Now, of course, there should be people, hey, Tay, hey, Cindy, should be people, and Gregory, I saw your comment too, that can help you, but they should be able to help you once you've done all you can do. All you can do. And so I just taught her that. I don't want you to have to, so I didn't teach her by giving her everything. I taught her, because my daughter works and she pays bills and all of that kind of stuff too.
And she collects bills.
Okay. But I didn't want her to go through the struggle that I went through. It was hard. It was very hard.
And obviously, being a woman, Deanna obviously saw the fact that it is hard being a single mother out here raising with the child. So she probably looked at that and she said, you know what? I'm going to learn. I'm not ready right now. So I'm not going to make my life harder than what it already is.
It's hard, and I just kind of thinking about it. Like I said, I had 3 jobs, and I needed those 3 jobs. Right. It wasn't like, I'm just being greedy out here, and when I got off from those jobs, I came home. Right. It wasn't like, well, shoot, I'm going to go to the bar. I'm going to unwind. I came home.
Yeah,
my child...
Professor Smitty, go ahead and hold down a little bit longer. I'm gonna stop by the club with my girls.
When I wasn't at work, I had my child. My child was with me every opportunity, every moment. It's still with me. Mm-hmm. When I wasn't at work, I had my child. I didn't, push my child off on other people unless I was doing something.
Right.
That was it. And so, Tay, you say, he said a strong word. Parents need to cut the cord if their grown kids don't know how to act.
Right. Wouldn't that save you a lot of heartache? Because I don't want to be involved with somebody. My father-in-law says this all the time. I'm going to let your knowledge take you as far as it's going to take you.
Yes. And that's how people learn. But to your point, Tay, when parents don't cut the apron strings, and I said this yesterday, they unfortunately make a bad mate, if you will. Because, what my mama said and my daddy said, and they always got somebody to run back to. And I'll give you an example. If my daughter, she's not in a relationship that I know of, but if she was married or something like that, and she kept running home to me, well, I just don't want to. No, you need to work it out. Is he beating your ass?
Right.
No, he ain't beating your ass. Is he cheating on you? No, he ain't cheating on you. Okay, well, because it sounds like the stuff you telling me is stuff that y'all can work out. No, you can't come here. Mm-hmm. I need you to go work it out. And impart wisdom. But no, I'm not going to tie her up to the apron strings, and say, oh my gosh, my baby. Because for one, I don't want you back home with me.
Right. But, my biggest thing is you give them the blueprint and say, like when people ask me, well, Don, what did you do to get certain thing? I'll say, hey, this is how you do it. If you're not going to listen to what I'm telling you, then why are you...
As my dad says,
wasting time.
If you can't take my advice, you can't take my money. You can't take my money. You can't take my resources. You can't take nothing from me. And that's part of the roaching thing. It's a lot of times people do when they want to roach off of you. They don't want the valuable stuff because a lot of times people think, well, the valuable things are the money. It's a place to stay. It's me using your car. No, the most valuable things I'm giving you is the advice. Like you said, I'm set up nicely. If I'm going to give you the blueprint, just follow it. I've already done the hard work. I've created the blueprint for you to follow. All you got to do is just say, okay, here's step A, B, C, and D, and do it.
And along the way, if it needs to tweak, I'm here to help you.
But roaching comes in. It's like, well, I don't want to do that. I just want to benefit from what you've already built.
Right.
Like, no, that's not how it works. You need to put the work in.
And that's what really breaks the Black families up. Because then you have these people that, you can't tell me, it's just the weirdest thing how you're grown in one sense and you assert your grownness. And then I say, okay, grown motherfucker, go out there and do what grown folks do.
Right.
I mean, I'm in my position not because somebody clicked their heels together and snapped their fingers and wiggled their nose.
You a check.
Yeah.
How much, darling?
Yeah. I mean, I went out there to go get, like Brian McKnight says, especially for men, you got to go out there and go get it. And, I look at some of these women and these young women and I hear the same story. That's what's the phenomena of it. It's the same story. I didn't know he was a drug dealer. He's sitting at home at his mama's house. He's 27 years old. He has a nice car that's not in his name, but he's driving it. You know what I mean? All these signs, and you're not questioning anything.
And I think, too, that's something we need to teach our kids. And hey, Nancy says, 18, bye-bye, the call and thank you for 3 men.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other part is, too, is that we don't teach our kids. We should, rather, because a lot of us do. Teach our kids the courting process.
Yo, good point.
Because my dad used to always talk about it. Admittedly, I didn't always follow that. You know, I got with my daughter's father when I was 19. So what do you know at 19? You know, it's like, oh.
Well, what did your dad tell me?
My daughter's dad could dance. Right. You know, so I met him at the club.
Looking like Big Daddy Kane.
Yeah. He looked like Biz Markie now. But that's a different story.
You're right.
But, you know, he can dance. And he was cute. And, you know, he was just, you
swag,
know, he had swag.
Right.
You know, whatever we called it back in the day at 19 or whatever the case is. But so I didn't always follow my parents' advice as far as the courting thing. I got caught up into that other stuff. Got, you know, pregnant, if you will.
What did your dad tell me?
Well, you Amanda, you can't have.
Yeah. You can't have Amanda. But I got this one right here. I said, I never looked at that one.
Color purple.
Color purple, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, so we need to teach our kids about the courting process. You know, there's levels to this. Hey, yeah, he looks good. He smells good. He got a nice car, but check him out. Ask some questions. Like my dad says, when you take something to court, especially a relationship, it's not just that person. See where they come from.
Sure.
See what their mamas is talking about. Their daddies are talking about it. You know, as you men say, look at the mama.
Look at the mama. That's gonna tell you exactly, in most cases,
in a lot of
how
cases,
she's gonna turn out.
Look at the mama. You know, what's the mama talking about? Is the mama educated? I'm not necessarily talking about degrees, but is she talking about something?
Right.
You know, because normally that's probably what she's taught her daughter. And the same thing for fathers. What are the fathers teaching the sons? You know, if the son is talking crazy, if the daddy's talking crazy, he's probably going to treat you that way.
Right, but, you know, again, back to the phenomenon. You got these young girls that are sharing the same dick in the same neighborhood with the same guy that has, like, 12 babies within the same neighborhood.
Well, that wasn't my case. I don't know what
what
neighborhood is it?
No, but you know what I mean? I mean, okay, you know, I never got to really watch Jerry Springer coming up when Jerry Springer really got popular.
Yes.
And Maury and stuff. And I used to think that was, you know, that was fake. Now that I've been retired, I've been watching it. That is some real shit.
Is that research still?
Yeah, and I'm still doing my research on that.
Yeah.
But I found out that that's, you know, it's real actually going on. And the scenario in a lot of the cases that I was, you know, watching, observing, I said, well, you guys all come from the same neighborhood. So why didn't you know that this guy had a baby with this person, but yet you still got with him knowing he had a girlfriend?
And it's a combination of he's got the gift of gab with women with low self-esteem.
Man.
Because women with low self-esteem will buy into all that. You know, he's the most coveted dude in the neighborhood. Oh, I got to have him because she's had him. And, you know, I'm like, whatever. If you got to have him, don't get knocked up. And so Cindy says, question, can you still deal with your ex? So me personally, yes. Well, you know, it's taken years and years of growth. I actually haven't been with my daughter's father since she was about 1.5. And yes, we had a lot of bumpy rides and, you know, I hate you and all this other stuff. But now that, well, shoot, he's 50.
Right. My brother just tweeted he's in FB jail again.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
so my daughter's father is now 50. Now, mind you, met him when he was 20. So...
Right.
So yeah, we get along really well now, really well.
The maturity.
Yeah, maturity. You know, and he told my daughter, which I was kind of was like, I was relieved in a way because he told my daughter not too long ago. He said, you know what, your mom never did anything bad to me. He says I had no reason to mistreat your mom. He said all she tried to do was care for me. She's, you know, one of the most caring and loving people I knew.
Right.
But I told Deanna, I said I'll let him off the hook. You know, he was young himself. You know, but. So yeah, we get along really well.
Yeah, and you didn't have it's not going to do any good to inflame the fire more than what it already was.
Yeah,
right?
I never went back to him or any of that kind of stuff. But yeah, we get along pretty good now, I would say. And let's see. And then Sydney, you all say ask 1,000 questions. Yeah, you got to. And that's what I think a lot of people don't want to do. Well, I don't want to ask because I don't want him to think or hurt.
But yeah, but you can get all this. I'm not going to ask no questions. He's going raw dog on you. You know, and then you wonder where the baby came from.
I don't want him to think I'm being too nosy or, I'm in his business. But like you said, you don't want to be in his business, but he in your drawers.
He's in your drawers.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, you should ask questions. If a person has a problem answering those questions, to me, that's a red flag. Now, if you be just asking stupid stuff, I don't even know what would be stupid, but something that's just kind of unrelated, then yeah, that might be an issue, but you should ask things, where do you see... Honestly, I'm going to be real with you guys. I hate that where do you see yourself in 5 years kind of question, because I'm one of those people like, hell, I don't know. Right. But that don't make me a bad person. But whatever you deem suitable, it's like an interview. You got to interview the person. Don't give them too much of a hard time, but you want to know what there is to know. So that way, when you got 2 and 3 kids, by the time I didn't know.
Right. But this phenomenon that's going on, the skin bleaching, the hair, and don't get me wrong, if you're going to bleach your skin, that's an expensive type situation and a dangerous one. Do you know there is an epidemic of cancer rising in Africa and the Caribbean because they are bleaching their skin with stuff these chemicals that have been outlawed?
Well, I mean, anytime you put any chemicals in your body, you are bound to get some sort of backlash from it. And Cindy says, I ask a lot, what's your relationship with soap and water?
Oh, yes. The most important one, brother.
Damn, Cindy goes deep.
Well, no, it's funny that he said that. A long time ago, and I'm glad you brought that up, I was trying to court this girl, trying to get her number and stuff like that. And she was an older lady, because back then I used to date women that were older than me, because I was trying to learn something. And the funny thing came out of her mouth. She goes, her cat was clean. I didn't ask you all that.
So how did she just told you, hey, by the way, my cat is clean?
We were talking about like scenarios with like women and stuff. She goes, oh yeah, them dirty bitches, yeah, but I make sure my cat is clean. And I was just like,
were you refreshed to know that?
It was a relief, but it's like, that's a little too much information, a little too early.
That's a need to know thing.
It is, but I'm meeting you at the bar right now. I'm trying to get to know you.
and Sydney, I'm so sad that at this point, because I don't have no shame in my game. I'm 48. That would even need to be like an issue. You take baths every day. I mean, like, now somebody was to ask me that, I would think that was weird, like, because I take baths every day, But yeah, you get to the point you gotta ask you. You look good and everything, baby, but do you take baths every day?
You wash your ass,
right? Ew. And so Nancy says, Edward went to get married to a 23-year-old. He was 16. I made him marry her. No baby mama drama or molestation charges. He has 5 kids. So you're talking about your kids where it's, not going to be no shacking up and all that. See,
expectations.
We need more parents like yourself. But unfortunately, we do have that. This is what we have too, Nancy. Well, how you know the baby yours? Mm-hmm. Now you need to go find out if the baby's yours first. Do we do that kind of stuff too?
Well, the thing is also, I mean, my thing with my son is, I don't know his sex life, whatever, but I told him straight out, yeah, it's all fun and games until the baby comes. Don't be like your friends out here having baby. I said, we're not that type of people. But, when it does happen, whenever that does happen, step up and be a man to handle your responsibility.
Well, and I think it's kind of I don't want to say it's a fair question. I guess it's a question, if you will. Well, how do you know the child is yours? But on the other side of that, it should be, well, were you there, son? Were you there participating in some sex with her?
Yeah, my mom always said, never tell a woman it's not yours if you were there at the time of conception.
Yeah, I was there. Well, until further notice, that's your child.
Right.
I mean, that's the kind of stuff.
You're a possibility.
Yeah, you should have been thinking about when you was hitting it, unprotected or whatever the case, until further notice that is your child.
Cause when I look at these shows, and I see the father if they're denying it, or the mother saying that that's not the father and he really was the father, I'm thinking one day that kid is going to go see. Or okay, a good example: you get these girls up there twerking on YouTube videos. These mothers that are into the adult video thing, or even the men as well. One day those kids are going to see that.
Yeah, that reminds me of a meme I saw where it had 2 pictures. One was of a regular grandma dressed
Yes.
and everything.
Yeah, that's what I sent you.
Yeah. And then the other one was grandma twerking. You know, grandma's in her drawers, and they said, you know,
how did we get to this?
Yeah, and you know, 50 years from now, so the grandchild's gonna say, well, here's a picture of my grandma. You know, she's bending it over. You know, I'm busting it open.
Right. You know,
I have a picture of my grandma. One day I'll show you. And it was in the 40s before my mom was born, and she's got her hat on, and you know, women had the gloves, and she was buttoned up and all that stuff. And so, looking at the picture, you would never get, oh, that lady's a freak.
Right.
I wonder, because she didn't present herself that way. So I couldn't imagine seeing my grandma, which a lot of people, to your point, kids when they're older, they're gonna see their grandma like that. They're gonna see their grandma butt naked, you know, on the internet somewhere for what?
Or you come to the funeral when grandma finally does pass, and she's the girl, the lady in the club with the cup. They got her propped up at the funeral thing, and she's the club chick.
Or she does pass, and they're trying to find a picture of grandma, and it's like, gosh, we can't find any presentable pictures of grandma with any clothes on.
Or think about this: 80 years from now. Because unlike us, you know, we got the photos where the photo turns black because it's, you know, that technology was back then. These kids now, and I was talking to my son about this the other day, and I said, you guys are so lucky because you actually can see yourself from the time you were born, and some kids' time of conception, all the way up until where you are right now. Right. So grandma's over there twerking, and that's what the kids and the next generation is going to see and going to see and going to see.
Yeah, if you are potentially going to be seen as a twerking grandma, you might need to, I don't know, that's sad to me. Because, you know, one day I will have grandkids, and the last thing I would want them to see is me.
Or that tape.
That was grandma.
Right, or that tape that was around the neighborhood that they've been digitizing, and now it's up on some site, you know, whatever the deal. But real quick, we've got about 3 minutes to go.
On this segment,
tell us you just recently found out, confirmed of her Scottish background.
Well, so what had happened was my brother, who we have the same parents, at least I think we do. No, I'm just kidding. We have the same parents, just did the 23andMe thing. He's going to actually bring me the results over. It's his whole workup. Awesome. 23andMe, find out that we are mostly West African, from Ghana, said Nigerian. We have some Asian in us, and 10% Massa. So 10%
white.
White. Of a Scottish background. Our last name is actually Scottish, which, you know, makes sense. We come from that plantation more probably. And he's found some relatives and things like that. So I thought that was pretty awesome too. Yeah. Which is more awesome is I didn't have to pay the $150 myself to find out he did it. So
right. Now, I want to give you guys a disclaimer. If you're going to do that 23andMe thing, all your kids that want to be thugs and all this other stuff, that DNA is now in a database, and that can be used in forensic science to find mass killers and, you know, people in cold case files.
Well, don't do no mass killing.
True. But what I'm saying is, you know, now that thing is now linked, and it's going to be forever doing it. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, because I think about all that, but hell, if the government wants your black ass,
they're going to get you.
They're going to get you. Yeah. Don't do the 23andMe and find out who your people's is.
Exactly.
Yes, I said he is. And so, in leaving this segment, Nancy says, my son, Osaf, likes being dark. I told him he's brown. He says it's magic.
Yes.
What the hell is the black shit in my shower? Well, what is that? We have to talk about that on the next segment.
What, the black soap or something?
Is it black soap, or is he washing the black off of him? Like, do tell.
Absolutely. But, you know, we got like a minute to go. But, you know, again, there's this phenomena that we have to stop. This phenomena. I've said it, and until somebody can prove me wrong. Nobody hates black women more than black women. Not all, but most. And I
we're gonna have to actually break that down one day.
Yes, but like again, I can prove it by the weaves, the blue contacts, the skin bleaching. It's one thing after another, and it's sad. We'll
talk about that on the next segment. So you guys in the podcast, please stay tuned for the second segment. We are going to be talking about Miss Petty. You got to come back to see who Miss Petty is. And so,
yes, I know who she is.
Come on back.
So, yeah, we're going to get into that.
All right, guys. So we're going to set up for the second management on the podcast, and we'll get into that. So you guys stay tuned so you'll find out who Miss Patty is. Some of you guys are probably up on